Hey everyone, welcome back to Excellent Minds Tutorials. I'm Jimmy, and today we're diving into one of the most powerful features in Excel, pivot tables. Whether you're a beginner or looking to brush up your skills, this tutorial will give you everything you need to know how to create, customize, and analyze pivot tables like a pro. So, let's get started. First, let's talk about what a pivot table is. A pivot table is a data summarization tool used in data processing. Pivot tables can automatically sort, count, and total the data stored in one table or spreadsheet, and create a second table displaying the summarized data. They're incredibly useful for quickly analyzing large datasets and can help you identify patterns, trends, and insights with ease. For example, imagine you have sales data for different products across various regions over a period of time. Without a pivot table, analyzing this data could take hours of manual work. But with a pivot table, you can summarize and analyze this data in just a few clicks. Before we create a pivot table, we need to have some data to work with. Here, I have a data set of sales transactions with columns like date, region, product, and sales amount. Make sure your data is organized into rows and columns, with headers at the top of each column. Here's what our data set looks like. Our dataset includes sales information for different products across various regions over a period of time. Now, this kind of dataset is perfect for demonstrating the power of pivot tables. Notice that the data is clean and well organized, with each column having a clear header. It's crucial to ensure that there are no blank rows or columns in your data, as these can cause issues when creating a pivot table. Also, make sure that each column contains a single type of data. For example, dates in the date column, text in the region and product columns, and numbers in the sales amount column. Alright, let's create our first pivot table. Follow these steps with me. Select any cell within your dataset. This tells Excel that you want to create a pivot table based on this data. Go to the Insert tab on the ribbon. The ribbon is the menu bar at the top of Excel. Click on Pivot Table. This opens the Create Pivot Table dialog box. Make sure your entire dataset is selected. You can see the range of the selected data in the Table Range field. It should match the range of your dataset. Choose where you want the pivot table to be placed. For this example, we'll place it on a new worksheet. Click OK. Now we have our pivot table field list on the right side of the screen. This is where the magic happens. The field list contains all the column headers from your dataset, which you can drag and drop into the different areas of the pivot table that you build your report. Let's start building our pivot table. Drag the region field to the rows area. This will create row labels for each region. Drag the product field to the columns area. This will create column labels for each product. Now drag the sales amount field to the values area. By default, Excel will sum the sales amounts for each combination of region and product. Look at that. We now have a pivot table that shows the sales amount for each product in each region. It's that simple. But there's so much more we can do. Notice how Excel automatically sums the sales amounts. If you wanted to count the number of sales transactions instead, you could click on the drop-down arrow next to the sum of sales amount in the values area. Select value field settings and choose count instead of sum. Let's customize our pivot table a bit more to make it even more informative. To format the numbers, click on any value in the pivot table, then right-click and select Number Format. Choose Currency to make our sales amounts easier to read. To sort our data, click on the drop-down arrow next to Row Labels and choose Sort A to Z or Sort Z to A. Sorting helps you quickly see the regions with the highest or lowest sales. Formatting and sorting are essential for making your pivot table more readable and organized. You can also apply conditional formatting to highlight specific data points. For example, you could highlight sales amounts greater than $500 with a different color. To do this, select the sales amount in your pivot table, go to the Home tab on the ribbon, click on Conditional Formatting, and choose Formatting Rule. This makes it easy to spot trends and outliers in your data. To make our pivot table more interactive, we can add filters and slicers. Drag the date field to the filters area. Now we can filter the data by specific dates or ranges. To add a slicer, click anywhere in the pivot table, go to the Pivot Table Analyze tab, and click on Insert Slicer. Choose Region and Product, and click OK. Slicers are great for quickly filtering your data without needing to use drop-down menus. You can click on the slicer buttons to filter your data in real time. For example, if you only want to see sales data for a specific region, you can click on the corresponding slicer button. Slicers also provide a visual way to see which filters are applied. This is especially useful when you're sharing your pivot tables with others, because it makes it clear which data is being displayed. Another powerful feature of pivot tables is the ability to group data. Let's say we want to group our sales data by month or quarter. Click on any date in your pivot table. Right-click and select Group. In the Grouping dialog box, choose how you want to group your data: by days, months, quarters, or years. For this example, Let's group by months. Click OK. Now our sales data is grouped by month, making it easier to analyze trends over time. You can also group data by other fields. For example, if you have age data, you could group it into age ranges. Grouping is a powerful way to summarize your data at a higher level. It helps you see the big picture without getting lost in the details. Sometimes you might need to create custom calculations with your pivot table. This is where calculated fields and items come in handy. Go to the Pivot Table Analyze tab and click on Fields, Items, and Sets. Then select Calculated Field. In the Insert Calculated Field dialog box, give your field a name and create your formula. For example, let's calculate the average sales by dividing the sales amount by the number of transactions. Calculated fields allow you to perform more advanced analysis without modifying your original dataset. You can use them to create custom metrics such as profit margins, growth rates, or customer lifetime value. Remember, calculated fields operate on the summarized data in your pivot table, not on the individual rows in your dataset. This means the results will be based on the aggregated data. Remember, if you update your original dataset, you need to refresh your pivot table to reflect the changes. To do this, right-click anywhere in your pivot table and select Refresh. If you add new rows or columns to your dataset, make sure your pivot table's data range includes these new data points. You can update the data range by clicking on the Change Data Source button in the Pivot Table Analyze tab. Refreshing your pivot table ensures that your analysis is always based on the most up-to-date data. It's a good practice to refresh your pivot table regularly, especially if you're working with a dynamic data. Here are some best practices and tips for working with pivot tables. Number 1. Always keep your data well organized and clean. Remove any blank rows or columns. Number 2. Use meaningful headers for your columns. Number 3. Be mindful of your data types. Ensure dates are in date format, numbers are in number format, and so on. Number 4. Take advantage of pivot table styles to make your table more visually appealing. Go to the Design tab and choose from various styles. Now, following these tips will help you create more effective and professional looking pivot tables. Additionally, consider using pivot charts to visualize your pivot table data. Pivot charts provide a graphical representation of your data, making it easier to spot trends and patterns. To create a pivot chart, click anywhere in your pivot table, go to the Pivot Table Analyze tab, and click on Pivot Chart. Choose the chart type that best represents your data, and click OK. Pivot charts are dynamic, meaning they update automatically when you change your pivot table. This makes them a powerful tool for data visualization and analysis. And there you have it, folks. A comprehensive guide to creating and customizing, as well as analyzing pivot tables in Excel. If you found this tutorial helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Excellent Minds tutorials for more Excel tips and tricks. Also, let me know in the comments what other Excel features you'd like to learn about. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.